Hmm.
Hello, Pavel.
Hello?
I don't know how many persons will come to the meeting, to the presentation.
I think we can start because we have 3 sessions in parallel.
Okay,
Uh,
so I start. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Do you see the sharing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So today it's the first part for Chameleon component. I've done an agenda, so I will introduce what is Chameleon, its ecosystem, and we will see after that a global picture, a global architecture, and I continue to describe the main module. I will focus on the starting sequence, and also I present you the event bus and the exposed web services. Specific focus also on right and licenses, and another focus on the HTTP notifiers. So what is Chameleon? It's a new component, but not that much because it's a concatenation of old component coming from ECC 4.0. I don't know if you know API framework on event server component on ICS. I don't know if you know this component.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
I know that some person already work on my IC.
Yeah.
Okay. So perhaps you already know this component. So Chameleon, it's an API for software client, and we expose web services. The old web services we exposed was in SOAP, and we expose these web services for our software client, but also for public clients. We have public API for business partner and for third-party application. We also provide RME interface for our server component, for example, IMAP frontend. And we introduce a new set of API in OpenTouch 2.0, which is in REST. It's REST web services. It's something new. The SOAP web services will be deprecated in the future, I think. For the moment, we still have SOAP API and REST API. So Chameleon is running in a Tomcat. It's a web application running it in a dedicated Tomcat container. It's not as other web application as Noe, by phone, UDR on web application, who's run in another Tomcat. On the solution, we have three Tomcats, sorry. One for the fax server, one for Chameleon, and one for the other web application. So now a picture about the ecosystem of Chameleon. It's present. I don't know if you see the cursor. Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the north interface is our API. We have a part of SOAP API here with a private part and public part. We'll see also on the south which server we can address. We have mail server, voicemail server, directory server, authentication server, collaboration server, and so on. So to address this server, we have built some stub to communicate with this external server. So for example, in the solution, I think you know Universal Directory server. We can address LDAP server on Oxy, for example. To address voicemail server, we have a component here, IMF. To perform routing management, we have dedicated services, Martin. On an internal plugin we will see after, named Goose, to route for routing management but for Oxy user. We have also a big plugin of Chameleon named RTSM. I think you already have a presentation on the call log history, which is driven by Squirrel plugin. To send and to share eventing between each of these plugin and components, we have an event bus. We will have a specific focus after. To get and to manage configuration, we have a dedicated component which name cache. I think at the moment Jean-Yves is sharing a presentation about this component. And this component is just a link to TMS. So if something changes on TMS, the cache will be notified, and this notification is sent on the event bus, and other plugin and module of Chameleon can get this event. Okay, perhaps just a focus here. We have two types of SOAP API. We have a public API. This is web services starting with ILC. This is all web services provided in ICS in the release 6. These API are still there and provided for free. But in the past, this API was you should pay to use this API, and we have specific licenses. But now in OT, this API is delivered for free. We have another set of APIs, the ICS, designed for private component on private client for OTC PC for OTC, iPad for OTC, mobile application. And we have developed a new set of API, the REST API. This API is available for private client, but also for public client and partners. This API, clients should pay to use it. We have 3 or 4 dedicated licenses for that. I continue. So here it's a global architecture, and I go deeper. So the node interface, it's still the same. It's a web services. You retrieve here the sub web services. You can see there's 2 colors. The orange colors, it's the old set of web services, ILC web services. And in blue here, it's a new set of web services, which is dedicated to private clients. But we have one exception here. CMS management is used by one of our partners to develop OT configuration portal. I don't know if you know the company. Its name is CureMe. And this company can use for free this API. In this part, this is a list of the available REST web services. I don't enter in the detail, but this is what we provide today. On the left here, it's an external notifier. It's a specific subcomponent to publish events to our client or to the server or the application. In orange, we still have the old interface. This is the SOAP publication for ILC, old web services. In blue here, it's another notifier, but for the new web interface and for our client. We have also some specific notifier in AMI, for example, to send even to OT web to OT service like UDAS, for example, for mask or for other services running on the OT server. We have also a specific notifier named EVS to send even to another instance of Chameleon component. When we are in high availability, we can communicate through this notifier. Just for remember, we have XML phone notifier. It's a very, very old API for web phone, for example, for NOE application, I think also. On the last notifier is in XML. Is used by other type of component, not in GV, but in C or C++, like OTS, for example, we can communicate with this type of component using just XML event. I will do a specific focus on HTTP notifier in the next slide. So that's the north interface. Now I go on the south interface. We have two types of interface. We have the ILC driver on the ILC stub. The ILC driver is to get some eventing from other services. So for example, we have a specific driver to get even from OTS component. The OTS component sends this even in SOAP. So here we have a specific handling. As we have EVS notifier, we have also a EVS driver to receive even from other Chameleon instance. We have also AMI on XML driver to get even from other components. Stub is to access to other sub-services. So we have specific driver, specific stub to invoke request on OTS, for example. We have a specific driver to invoke request to perform some researches on UDS, for example. This stub is in RMI. This one is in SOAP for OTS. So we have many stubs to address each OT server services. In orange, this is the stub which are designed and included in Chameleon source code. In green, like mask, it's a stub providing from the component itself, so it's provided by mask component. So I will continue with a specific module. So the main module I think we have is a cache manager. This is the component which is connected to CMS component to get the topology, to get the configuration of the OT, the configuration of the user. This component is responsible to be updated on is synchronized with the CMS, so he gets the notification from the CMS, and Cache Manager is up to date and provide event on the event bus to dispatch the information for all the other components, for the driver, for the stub, and for the plugin we will see here. We have also a module about session, another module for write, to check the write of the user, if they can do some request or not. We have also a license manager to check in and to check out license in the Flex server. Also another module named Alarm Manager to send alarm where something goes wrong, when we lose a connection, for example, if we have some trouble. Another subcomponent, the reference manager. Reference manager is it's a map, just a map of reference of object that you can retrieve to perform action. So, for example, when a plugin is instantiated in the Chameleon, we have a reference on this plugin, and other module can retrieve this reference to perform some request to this plugin. Here we have two dedicated modules. This is the internal notifier and the internal driver is to provide event or to subscribe to event. This is a part of the event views. And here we have the last block we will speak today. It will be the HTTP notifier. We'll see what is it. Do you have a question for the moment?
No.
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 Okay. I continue. Okay. So this is a summary what I think just before, but I come back on the main block. So the driver, the stub, the module, notifier, plugin, and services. All this type of module or component or subcomponent can be retrieved through the reference manager. We will see how to do that after. So the driver I think we can follow because I already said what I have to say in the preview side. Continue. Yes. So let's go to start for a focus of the Chameleon starting. So Chameleon is a web application running in Tomcat. So the main servlet is started by Tomcat itself. I don't know if you have already seen how it's designed. Or I think you know what is a web.xml file. So in this file, I just define which servlet has to start on Tomcat startup. So the main point, the entry point of Chameleon is this classes comme ALU, AIS, ICS, Chameleon, ALC servlet. This servlet extends from Axis servlet. Axis servlet is the framework we use to provide SOAP web services. So this is the entry point of Chameleon. So when this servlet starts, we link Chameleon to the solution control library. This library sends to Chameleon through a callback the role of Chameleon. Is it a main role or is it a standby role? So according to this, we start or don't start some module we will see. This is the role of the service loader. The service loader is responsible to load plugin, stub, notifier, driver, notifier. Donc this module are started or not also according to the OpenTouch context. If it is OTMS which is starting, we don't start the same component if this is an OpenTouch multimate OTMC server. We will see.
Michel,
Yeah.
one question.
Yeah.
Does Chameleon receive this information from CMS? I mean, what load?
No. This information is provided during the installation. This is the setup, the script that describe what is the installation. And we will see that we have a dedicated file. See what we have to start or not.
Oh, okay.
We will see in the next slide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. When the service loader load all plugin and stub, we will start internal event bus. So the two parts I mentioned in the previous slide, the internal driver and notifier. After that, we start the cache manager. The cache manager loads the topology, the configuration, and wait for that. If CMS is not started, Chameleon process on cache manager wait that CMS start. If it's okay, Chameleon manager continue and start to load user configuration in background. After that, the session manager is started. We start also the RMI registry. It's a little bit different from the other OpenTouch services because Tomcat has already a RMI registry, and we cannot use this registry to bind our services. So we have to launch an external RMI registry. So when this registry is started, we can bind all RMI services, and also we register the GMX mbin. This is for debug purpose. We will see, I think, tomorrow how to use this part. When this is done, we invoke the service loader to start all plugin, stubs, module, and driver. And after that, we start the last servlet. This servlet is also defined in the web.xml file. This is a servlet for GRZ. This is the framework we use for REST web services. So we have just here the main classes. This is a definition of what is the class defining the web services. We will see. Okay, so when this servlet is started, Chameleon is started. I think we will see tomorrow in the traces. You can see the step in the log file. Okay, here I speak about the service loader. So when the OpenTouch is installed, the script knows if it is OTMS or OTMC context. So we have a dedicated file to describe what are the plugins, the stub, on web services, we have to start according to the context. So when we provide the binary to the installation script, we provide two types of this file. We have a file which is the default file for OTMS. This file we can find in this location. We will see tomorrow, I think, also the complete file. Yes, we will see tomorrow. We provide a second file for OTMS context. This file is located in the root directory of Chameleon. And when the installation process installs the Chameleon, it takes this file and overwrite the default file. Okay, so perhaps some explanation about the content of the service loader file. In this file, this is just a list, all the classes we have to, Chameleon have to start. Here it is just an extract, so you retrieve the concept of stubs, service RMI, the SOAP, the event server notifier, and the external plugin. So for example, here, this is the main class for the RTSM services. Here, it's a main class for the SquareL. So perhaps you have seen that after this name of class, we have some tag. Here, auto. Here, main standby. This tag is just to inform the service loader to know what he had to do. So for example, for all SOAP web services, you have the tag auto, because this classes is not started directly by Chameleon itself, not by the service loader, but by Axis. Axis knows all the web services he have, so he starts automatically all these classes. This is the implementation of the web service, and automatically Axis will start them. Here, for example, EVS notifier and RMI notifier EMPL, we have a specific tag, main standby. This means that this component should be started by the service loader in two cases: if Chameleon is main or if Chameleon is standby. In the two HE role, this component should start. For the classes where there is no tag, this means that these classes or this component should start when Chameleon has the role of main. So, do you have some question, perhaps?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, let's go for focus on the event bus. So event bus, it's our implementation of an event bus. It's not a library. This is something we have done in the past. So how it works? So you have publisher. Publisher can be one of the modules of Chameleon, can be a plugin, can be cache, can be a driver, and so on. So it's easy to send an event. You have just to retrieve a reference to the internal driver and use one method. It's send event. All the event you can send is an implementation of IC event. We will see what in the next slide what is an IC event. So this event is sent to the event bus, and this event is sent to subscriber which is interest of this type of event. To send an event, the publisher uses his own thread. This means that the event is pushed through the event bus directly to the event queue of the subscriber. This is the thread of the publisher which push this event to the event queue. We have here a thread polling the event queue and invoke in the subscriber a specific callback name on receive event. This is a working thread for the subscriber. This part, event queue plus thread, is a part of ALC notifier classes, and all subscribers should extend from these classes. ALC notifier provide two main methods. One method to subscribe to events, another to unsubscribe. And ALC, the subscriber should implement the own receive event to treat the event he received. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Question? Yeah. Okay. I go a little bit deeper. So I spoke about the reference manager. It's a singleton in Chameleon. So you can get reference of all module on plugin and so on. So you can also retrieve a reference on the internal driver. So from this reference, you have just to invoke the send event when you have some event to publish. So all the event implement the ALC interface. ALC interface is just four main attributes, which is ID, name, originator, and family. So I have an example here about code created event. So for this event, we have some constant. For example, the name. It's RTSM code created. We have also two family, OXI and ICM. So we can, after that, with these four attributes, we can filter what we want to receive on type of event. We will see here with a selector. So when you want to receive some event, you have to define a list of selector. A selector is just a list of ID, a list of names, a list of originator, a list of families. So for example, here, I want to subscribe to RTSM code created event for 4 persons, for example, Ladislav, Taras, Elena, and Natalia. very, very often the ID correspond to the login. I think in 90%. We have some case when ID is not login. For example, we can subscribe for event link status. So in this case, it is not login, but ID of connection. So to subscribe, you have just to send to the ISA notifier what you want to receive. And when you have subscribed, you can retrieve the event through a dedicated callback on receive event you have to implement in your component or in your subcomponent. Some question?
No.
No. Okay. I continue with the exposed web services. As I said, we still have old web services named IEC XXX web services. This is something coming with the old version of OpenTouch, which was ICS v6.x, 6.7, I think, the last version. So this API is still provided for public API. And as I said, this API is now for free. There is no more license. In the first version of OpenTouch 1.0, we don't have any REST web services, because these REST web services was come with OpenTouch 2.0. So just another point about ICS XXX web services. This is the web services provided to our internal software client. And as I said, there is one exception for ICS CMS management. This one is used by QME to perform OpenTouch configuration. Okay.
Is it special tool for configuration OpenTouch, or just I have never seen such configuration portal?
It's just for configuration portal, but this one is also used by 4770 tool to manage OpenTouch.
Okay.
This is the same web services. Okay, here we have a list of the IEC web services still provided in OpenTouch 1.x on 2.x. This is the last version we exposed in release 6.5. So this is the list, the exhaustive list of what we exposed today, and still available for public application. I continue with the sub web services exposed for our client. On the top here, it's the release of OpenTouch. On here, we have the exposed web services. So for example, I take the first row, ICS alarm management. We have developed the first version with OpenTouch. I can say 7.0. And you can see that this web service, we don't do any evolution. This is still the same through all OpenTouch release. In release 8.1, this is still the version 7.0, which is exposed. For example, for ICS API framework, we have designed many versions. First version coming with 7.0, but we have done some modification in release 7.1. No evolution in 7.2, nor in 7.3, but we do some other modification in release 8.0 on for the release 8.1. Perhaps you have already seen in the source code some package name R1, R2, R5, and so on. I don't know, but this is the corresponding array. I don't detail all the other web services. I think you understand what I want to show you, that we have many implementation for all web services we have here. Is it okay?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, now some word about REST web services. I will open another document because this one is not complete. Just one second. Very strange. Right. Okay, this is a document I will send you. This is the last feature list of REST API for the release 12. For the moment, we don't have the last release feature list. For release 13. So here is just all feature we provide in REST. I don't know, perhaps you have already seen the REST documentation with Dominique Caudal?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's another view about the feature provided. Perhaps here you can see the history, what has been done in OpenTouch 2.0, 2.1, 2.1.1, and so on. Perhaps it's good to see that. I don't know if it's very interesting to read this document, but during the presentation, but for you, I will send you, and we can read this carefully. Okay, I will continue on the presentation. Yes, right on licenses. There are two types of context: private context and public context. So when you open a session on the framework, you have to pass a parameter name, application name. And for our application, we have dedicated name. So for example, here, OTC PC Windows. When we open a session with this type of application name, we control some right to see if the user opening the session can use this application or not. And if this right, it's okay. We check if we have the license, if you can get a license from the Flex server. For example, for OTC PC Windows, we get one license named ICE Desktop MM. The same user can open more than one session, but in this case, we use only, and we take only one license. If OTC PC Windows is open twice, we just take one license, ICE Desktop MM. Here is a list of the applications we support today. On the corresponding right, we check on what license we take. So the license in the private context, and when we use SOAP web services, we take the license when we open the session. It's different from REST API and the public context.
In previous version of OpenTouch, we shouldn't be specify application name, yeah? For SOAP API.
So yes, perhaps yes, you are perhaps right. So in this case, this is all API. So it's free.
Mm-hmm.
For ICS web services, we have an application name, yes, and for ALC, we don't have. Yes, you are right. So in this case, the API is for free, so no license are checked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here a specific focus on the public context on the SOAP API, on the REST API, sorry. So some resources are free, or no right are checked. So you can perform some action as open a session. There is no check. We just control that the authentication is okay, but we don't check any right on the user or the administrator, and we don't take any license. Another resources users is also for free. A user can open a session and get information about itself. You can retrieve, don't know, its device or its voicemail, and so on. It's the same for an administrator. An administrator can open a session, get all the login of the user on the OpenTouch server, and can get information about each user using users resources here. This part is for free. For other for other resources, we have a dedicated license and dedicated check. So, for example, I take this one, telephony calls. We check that the user has advanced telephony API rights. This is something we can see in the configuration. And we take also one license named tail advanced on the Flex server. So you can see here that the behavior is different from SOAP API because we take the license when the service is invoked, not when the session is open. An administrator can perform action also for a user. So when an administrator performs a request for a dedicated user, we check that this user has the correct right, and so we can get and check a license. All the license taken for a user is stored in the session. So the license are freed when the session is closed. Perhaps a specific behavior about subscription. As I mentioned here, an administrator can subscribe to event notification concerning a subset of users. In this case, we don't check that all these users have the correct right. We just add, we just control that we have enough license to perform the request. So, for example, if I want to subscribe for 100 users, I just check if we have 100 licenses. This is a simplification we have done. So it's a little bit different from the behavior for a standard user.
So a user shouldn't have advanced telephony license.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Only license for mobile client.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Just a word about compartmentalization. When you open a session, you can perform some request. And as you can see in the array here, for a private context, you can open a session through VUCC, RMI, the old web services, the new web services, and the REST services. You can perform any request on all the interface. There is no control when you are in a private session. You can do what you want. It's different for a public session. You have some restriction. So for example, if I open the VUCC session, very old interface used by WebSophon on no application, I think, you cannot use ICS web services nor REST web services. So it's the same for RMI and for the old ALC web services. You cannot use the new version. You should open the session with the correct web services, the correct version. So to use ICS web services, you should open ICS session. And it's the same for REST. You should open a REST session to perform REST request. Okay?
Yes, but I can use application name. Yes, for session.
No, yes. For this type, for the first three session, you don't have application name. No, just for ICS and REST. Yeah. So perhaps just one word about public session. Public session means that we don't recognize the application name. This is just the difference. Yeah. Okay. Now some slide about HTTP notifiers. So here a picture about notifier. So we provide two main type of notification. We provide what I name HTTP chunk notification. We have two ports, a secure port here on a plain not secure port to provide the chunk notification. And we have another type of notification. This is what we name SOAP notifier. It's not the same behavior. Perhaps I'm start with the SOAP notifier. SOAP notifier is for external server. It's old interface, but we still provide for for 8770 server. This server subscribe through a dedicated web services to notification. So for example here, if this is our configuration tool, subscribe for CMS event, and we have a SOAP notifier mechanism which connect to a web services implemented in the external server. So we invoke here some web services. This is a new behavior. It's not the same behavior as for HTTP notifier, because for HTTP notifier here, this is the client which connect to Chameleon. And here, this is Chameleon which connect to the client. So we have two types for HTTP chunk notifier. We have two types of connection. We have one connection, one secure connection, on not secure. Not secure for internal notification. This is the channel used by ACS component to retrieve all events coming from Chameleon. So there is no encryption here. It's plain text. We have two types of chunk notifier. Here it's a ICS event, it's all interface. The events are published in XML. On OT events, we provide event in JSON. On XML, we will see in the next slide. For the external client, we use a secure connection. The certificate is the same as for Muxer. This is the same certificate, but this certificate is stored in key store, in JV key store. So we have three types of connection in this channel. We have a direct connection from a mobile application through OT event channel. We provide for REST API for external client, BP or partner. We provide the same interface on OT server. Perhaps you remember for all clients, we still have ICS event for my IC. I think no IIC anymore now, but the interface is still available. ICS provide also event through event pipe. It's an ACS dedicated notification mechanism. We provide event to middleware, and middleware provide event to OTC PC on iPad. That's all. Any question about this picture?
Yes. Why don't use one interface between Chameleon and ACS, for example, OT events?
Yeah. Yes. This is we start with ICS event, and when we want to provide the new event in the JSON, it was not easy to discuss with ACS team. So we provide two types of interface. Right now, I think we can use only one. This is something you can do in the future. You can, I think, just use one interface on one link OT event. Okay, I continue. Okay, here this is just to illustrate what is a subscription. So as I said, this is a client which connect to Chameleon. So for that, we use a simple request, a post request to OT event on a dedicated port. So you retrieve the filter, what you want to get in terms of event. So for example, here I have 4 selectors. I want to retrieve event about telephony. This is a list of event of telephony. We want also to get some event from Panda component, event summary component, and I want also to get event from call history, and also the event for call routing management. Here we have just names, so it means that we want all the events for all the users. I don't use IDs parameter or attribute. So if I don't precise what I want in terms of IDs, we get all. Just here, some precision about the mode, the check mode. I want to get the event in JSON. Here you retrieve the session ID. This is a session you get when you open a session or when you authenticate on the framework. I want to get event in version 1.0. For the moment, in REST, we have just one version, 1.0. And I have a timeout here with the value 0. This means that the subscription is permanent. So the subscription has the same life than the session itself. When the session is closed, the channel will be closed also. So when you succeed to subscribe, you get a 200 OK. As you see, this is a chunk. This is a chunk encoding, and you will get even in JSON format. I continue with another type of event. This is an old channel in XML. We have the same information, but in XML. So you perform a request not on OT event, but on ICS event with a filter described in XML. You retrieve the session ID, a timeout, permanent here, and the version of the event you want to receive. So for in this example 7.1, and I want to retrieve telephony event and routing management event for one user, Oxy 70020. Perhaps here it's a little bit strange name, but it's an alias for all the event of telephony. Below this alias, you have on-call created event, on-call remove, on-call modify, on participant added, and so on. This is an easy way for client to subscribe for all events.
Is it possible to do the same in JSON?
Yes, it's possible. So if the subscription succeeds, you will get a 200 OK, chunk encoding OK, content type plain text, and you will get event in XML. So in this example, on-call created event. I continue with a third type of subscription. Here we use a dedicated mode, chunk multipart. This means that in the response, we can have different type of event in JSON or in XML. Here, for example, we subscribe for telephony event summary. I don't precise what I want in terms of format. So this is a default format, compat7x, 7x. So it's XML. And for routing state change, I want to get the event in JSON format. So the response is a little bit different. You retrieve the 200 OK, but the content type is multi-path mixed with a specific boundary. This is the boundary we use. This is just a string which separates all the chunk. So for example, here you receive a first boundary indicating that we use JSON format, and you get the first event to say that the channel is open. After that, you will receive another boundary indicating here that we receive another type of event, not JSON, but XML in this example. So we can mix the content of the event. This is something interesting for applications which use XML interface, for example, the whole web XML interface. On this application can want to get the new type of event in JSON. So in the same channel, they can receive both without modification of the old interface. Okay, any question?
No.
Okay. I think I finished for the first part. Tomorrow I will share with you some information about test, about debugging and troubleshooting. I think it would be also interesting. I think I've also a part about documentation. I know that that Dominic already speak about REST documentation, but we have also documentation for SOAP web services. I don't know if Dominic still speak about that.
No, about
okay.
SOAP.
Okay. So this documentation we will see is built directly from WSDL file. It's automatically built, and we will see how to retrieve the documentation on the server, on also on the Nexus repository. Yes. We speak also. I think we will speak also about how to build a Chameleon and how to deliver.
Yeah.
Do you have question about what we see today? We can.
No, I think. I think we will connect with you if we have any question.
Okay.
By email.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no question, we can stop here. But don't hesitate to send me an email if you have question.
Okay. Could you send us your presentation?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.